When planning your office build out, one of the most frustrating things is to put together a preliminary project budget. Here at AQUILA Commercial, we put together hundreds of these every year. My name is Dustin Hogzett and I'm a project manager here at AQUILA Commercial. In this video, we're going to go over some of the major categories that goes into putting together your project budget. Some of the major categories that will go into your project budget will include hard costs, soft costs, vendor costs, contingency, and project management fee. Hard costs are going to be between anywhere from 75 to 85% of your project budget. They're always going to be the largest piece because they actually include the physical construction of the space. They're going to include things such as mechanical, electrical, plumbing, paint, carpet, drywall, framing. Hard costs are going to be one of the most difficult things to budget for because they're going to be dependent upon the size of project and quality of finishes. So your tenant improvement allowance should always cover hard costs. It just depends on if you have enough tenant improvement allowance to cover not only all the hard costs, but any other associated costs with the project, such as soft costs or vendor costs. The level of finishes can also determine how much the project will cost and if your TI allowance will cover that. So soft costs are one of the things that also need to be included in the project budget. So some of the basic things that are typically included in soft costs is architectural fees, engineering fees, TOS ADA review, permit expediting, and reimbursables. Those are all things that can be covered by the TI allowance as long as it fits within the TI allowance. Soft costs are typically easier to estimate than hard costs. So vendor costs are typically the things that the client needs besides just the physical construction of their office space or the production of the construction drawings. Vendor costs typically make up between 5 and 10% of the total project budget. They include things such as furniture, cabling, security, moving, and signage. These things sometimes can be covered by the tenant improvement allowance, but most times they're not. Typically it's because there's not enough tenant improvement allowance to cover these. Sometimes there is, but specifically within the work letter and the lease, it would state if any vendor costs can be added and included as part of the tenant improvement allowance. So similar to hard costs, vendor costs are very project specific. When putting together a project budget, you should always carry a contingency. Contingency should range between 5 and 10% of the total project budget. It will cover things such as scope creep and unforeseen conditions. So scope creep is items that weren't originally planned for in the budget and that get added to at a later time. Those are things that the contingency will normally cover. It kind of protects you on the back end because there's always going to be changes. One of the final things you should do when putting together your project budget is include a project management fee. This fee typically ranges between 3 and 5% of total project cost. That 3 to 5% basically takes the whole project process off of your plate. One thing that a lot of people say is, I've done this before, I have experience in this before, I built my home, I helped at another firm renovate our office space. And one of the things I always say to people is spending 3 to 5% on a project manager is going to save you probably 2 to 3 times that at the end of the day. Not only are they bringing the experience, but they're helping you with your budget, your schedule, and the quality of your project. Spending that money is going to be one of the best decisions that you make. Your project budget breaks up into 5 categories. Hard costs can run anywhere between 75 to 80%. Soft costs can run anywhere from 8 to 12%. Vendor costs can run anywhere from 5 to 10%. PM fee anywhere from 3 to 5%, and contingency roughly 10%. So for more information on how to put together a detailed project budget, check out the full article on our blog. Need help getting started? Click the link below and download our free office build-out budget template today. And remember, no one knows Austin better than AQUILA.
Patrick Morrison here from AQUILA Commercial, and if you liked that video, make sure to hit that like button. And click here to learn a lot more about commercial real estate, and click here to subscribe and never miss one of our weekly videos.